Shalom and welcome back to Israel with Aline. We are in Jerusalem and today's topic is the Ethiopian Jews and the lost tribe of Dan. We are going to talk about how Judaism arrived in Ethiopia 3,000 years ago, their connection with the lost tribe of Dan, and also about the prophecy of their return to the land of Israel and its fulfillment through a secret Mossad operation. And stay with us until the end because we are going to visit an Ethiopian synagogue together. So if you're ready, let's go. The Ethiopian Jewish community is called Beta Israel, which literally means the house of Israel. And why the name? Because they lived in the kingdom of Israel until about 2,700 years ago, when the Assyrians invaded and destroyed the kingdom of Israel and took the 10 tribes and sent them into exile. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll leave a link here to the video about the 10 tribes of Israel. But today we're going to talk about the tribe of Dan, who with the exile was sent to the region that is now Ethiopia. And they joined a small Jewish community that already existed there, thanks to the Queen of Sheba, who 300 years earlier went up to Jerusalem to learn about the famous wisdom of King Solomon, as told in the first book of Kings in the Bible. And according to Ethiopian tradition, thanks to her, Judaism arrived in Ethiopia, and they even say that she married King Solomon, and together they had a son named Menelik, who would become the next king of Sheba. And so, the descendants of the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon, along with the arrival of the refugees from the tribe of Dan, gave rise to the Beta Israel community, and they maintained biblical Jewish practices. For example, Brit Milah, which is what we call circumcision, they also kept kosher dietary practices, meaning they didn't eat foods forbidden by the Bible, such as pork. And here we see a traditional dish called injera. And besides that, they also observe Shabbat, the Sabbath. And they mainly lived off agriculture and herding. Because of their geographical location, they ended up being isolated. And for centuries, they didn't know about the existence of other Jews in the world. Imagine, they believed they were the last survivors of the people of Israel. But even after so much time in exile, one thing never changed: the dream of returning to their ancestral land. Every day they prayed facing Jerusalem, and every year they said, Lishana haba ab Yerushalayim. They prayed in English and said, next year may we be in Jerusalem. And they hoped that the prophecies would be fulfilled, like Isaiah 11:11, which promised their return to the land of Israel. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord will again stretch out his hand to recover the remnant of his people who are left from Assyria and from Egypt, from Pathros and from Ethiopia. And after so much time in isolation, finally in the 19th century, the other Jews became aware of the existence of the Beta Israel. Everything will change in the early 70s when the terrible civil war in Ethiopia begins, where thousands will die because of the conflict and also because of hunger. And the number of attacks on the local Jewish community increases dramatically. Not that their lives were easy before, but now it becomes practically impossible to live there. Even non-Jews call the Jews falashas, which is a derogatory word that means foreigner or landless. And the religious persecution was so intense that many were forced to convert to Christianity and had crosses forcibly tattooed on their bodies and foreheads. And in those difficult times, a glimmer of hope began to appear when in 1975, the state of Israel recognized their right under the law of return. This means that they have the right to migrate to Israel and receive citizenship. But there was a huge problem since the Ethiopian government did not allow the Beta Israel to return to their homeland. Imagine their suffering, knowing that their promised land was so close yet so far away at the same time. Knowing that the Israeli government wanted to rescue them, but the local authorities wouldn't allow it. And meanwhile, they kept dying in Ethiopia. Until in 1984, an operation by the Mossad, the Israeli Secret Service, began. They are going to send agents to Ethiopia. And the agents see that there really is no way to take the Jews directly from Ethiopia to Israel. And that's why they are going to take thousands of people and start a huge journey across the deserts towards Sudan, which had agreed to allow the rescue of the Jews from its territory, and refugee camps were prepared there. This operation will be known as Operation Moses because of the biblical character who brings the Jews back to their land. After 8,000 Jews were rescued in 7 weeks, the media revealed this secret plan, and now all the Arab countries are going to pressure Sudan to stop the operation. And thousands of Jews will be trapped in Sudan in refugee camps, and thousands more still in Ethiopia. And once again, the dream that was so close to them, the home of Israel, the promised land, will once again seem so far away. Until the year 1991, when Mossad carries out one of its biggest secret operations, Operation Solomon, where they rescue more than 14,000 Beta Israel in just 2 days. It will be an emotional moment for everyone, the fulfillment of the prophecy and also the reunification of these families after so many years. And in the following years, more operations brought even more Beta Israel back to their home. But thanks to Israel-Ethiopia relations, the last immigrations were already done legally and not secretly. See how emotional their return to Israel is after more than 2,700 years of exile. In fact, the last operation happened in 2020. And here are the images from December of the arrival of 316 new immigrants. Nowadays, 152,000 Beta Israel live here. This represents 1.7% of the entire population. But even with all the joy of seeing them return home, we can't forget the price that was paid. 4,000 Beta Israel will die on the way to Israel. And we have to remember their achievements, but also all the difficulties they went through in order to immigrate to Israel. We have now arrived in the city of Lod, here in the center of Israel, and behind me you can already see an Ethiopian center and synagogue. Rabbi Misgav now will welcome us now and tell us a bit about his family story and show us the synagogue. Let's go. We can see the signs in Hebrew and Amharic, which is one of the languages they speak, and we're now entering the central part of the synagogue.
Because first of all, I was born in Ethiopia. We emigrated with my parents in 1987. We are here. And really the great ones in the community, the people who did a lot, among them my father from the very beginning. We remember the souls of the Lord and we keep talking about it. With God's help, we also remind the children who continue the life of the nation because of us that soon in our days the kingdom of Israel will remember the complete creation. That's how the church was in every sense. And from that comes the idea that all prayers are focused and rise up to heaven. This is the church that was in Tepper.
Like every synagogue here, it has the Aron Kodesh, the place where the scrolls are kept, the Torah book. And here we can see what is called the Paroshe, which is the separation here. We can see the symbol of the 12 tribes of Israel, reminding us of the importance of the tribes for the Ethiopian community as well. The direction of the Aron Kodesh is always towards Jerusalem, the same direction in which the main prayers are performed. And now the rabbi is opening it for us and giving us the honor of being able to see what's inside. And inside each of these covers is a Torah, which is what we call the Pentateuch in Portuguese, which are the first 5 books of Judaism. The others also exist here inside the synagogue, but not inside this same cabinet. And they are taken out every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday for readings, for example, the Bar Mitzvah. And now I'm going to show you footage that was filmed before the start of the pandemic. Seeing the Beta Israel back in their home after so much time in exile and after so many hardships is a joy that is truly hard to share with you. But this also reminds us that the story of Israel and the story of the tribes of Israel did not end in the past. Yes, it is still being written to this day. I hope you enjoyed our tour today to learn a little more about Ethiopian Judaism and about the lost tribe of Dan. If you want to follow more of my daily life here in Israel, follow me on Instagram, Aline Guya in Israel, subscribe to the channel, kisses, shalom, and see you next time.